The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 813. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today we have another amazing woman from our Asian Women Who Boss Up book, and this woman is phenomenal. She is a business and life coach, and I'm really excited to have her here today to share her story. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Lucy Liu. Lucy, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for having me back, Sheena. It's such an honor, actually.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're back here and being part of this book. I know it's going to be so amazing. Just inspiring so many other Asian women out there to forge their own path is like, a feat on its own, because I know it can be scary, especially as an Asian woman being brought up. But yeah, tell the listeners a little bit more about what you do.
I'm going to be straight up very vulnerable. I was on your podcast maybe a year and a half ago, and it was actually the first podcast I was ever guesting on. And since then, I've been on many more podcasts, and I actually started my own podcast and just calling it the Lucy Liu Show, which actually was an act to cultivate my own confidence and to shatter a lifelong limiting belief that my name was Lucy Liu and that my English isn't good enough. And that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I don't know what you're thinking, saying your English isn't good enough. I think it's fine just the way it is. And so I'm really glad to have you back. And Lucy, what's your cultural background?
I'm 100% Chinese American. I grew up in China and immigrated to the United States when I was in 5th grade.
Thanks for sharing that. And how does the model minority myth hurt Asian women as a whole?
To be honest, I think of this question as a chance to flip the script and look at things from different perspectives. I think what we consider minority and majority has such a big impact on our lives. For example, I grew up in a predominantly Asian community. The high school I went to was actually about 80% Asian. So to me, growing up, I felt like I was the majority. And then I went into the real world. Obviously, that's not the truth. We are minority, right? And I know this concept, this mindset so often give us these limiting beliefs, and these limiting beliefs are absolutely not true. We just believe them to be true. Like what I talked about earlier, I believed my English is never good enough because I'm Asian American. I'm not American American. But as I made mindset shifts that because we are the minority, we actually have a ton of opportunities. And I believe when we have this open-minded mindset, being the minority actually welcomes more opportunities, such as meeting you, Sheena, and being a part of this book. So I absolutely believe in the power of our mindset and the transformation of our perspective change.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know sometimes we see things at an unfair advantage, but sometimes we can use that unfair advantage for good, right? Like putting yourself out there, creating representation. And, why do you think creating a strong representation of Asian women is so important for you?
Oh, to me, I am all in when it comes to women empowerment. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how and in what form, but I absolutely love any chance and opportunity that surfaces to empower other women. It's my passion. And especially when, as Asian women, not only are we representing us, we are representing the generations ahead of us that sacrificed, like our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents that sacrificed so much that brought us, say, to the United States, to, another country. so that we can live a better life. So we are starting and growing our legacy, not only for ourselves, but for our ancestors and for our parents. And so that's really important for Asians because we always have this special connection that's different, right, to our family. That's really profound.
Thanks for sharing that. And how does it feel being that representation for so many Asian women in the world?
Oh, it feels great because we all have stories. You have a story, I have a story, and all of us have stories. And when we look back on those years of our past life, we get to realize that all those lows, those stories, those fears, those hindrances are the exact things that propel us to greater heights. And we, through these stories, learn extremely valuable life skills that makes us a better person. And therefore, if the universe, this collective energy, if we are putting out these positive vibrations into the world, that's the beauty of life. And that's our mission, is to inspire a life journey that's decked out, yes, with pains, risks, laughters, and joy, good and bad, but life is an all-inclusive ride. And we are here to inspire. We are here to, at least I know I live to give you that, even that flicker of hope that will catapult you to great heights.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned, life isn't like always the happy moments. It's like a roller coaster. It's up and down. And I know growing up as Asian women, we feel like we have to put out that perfect life out on social media or to our friends and family, but really like most of us are a hot mess. And sometimes we have to be like, it's okay because it makes us who we are. And it makes us relatable to everyone else because we all go through different moments in our life, different seasons. Sometimes we're 100% confident. Sometimes we're 50% confident. And sometimes we're minus 30% confident, but it's how we keep moving forward, keep taking action that really matters the most. I really love that you mentioned that. And share one reason as to why every Asian woman needs to read this book.
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons, but just the lineup. Oh my gosh, Sheena, I love these women. I am so grateful for this group of women to call my sisters as we rise together, as we inspire together, because each author inspires me. I follow everyone on social media and you all inspire me. So I'm sure together we will inspire more lives.
Thanks for sharing that. And what can readers gain from reading your story?
Well, obviously, I'm all about confidence and positivity. So I definitely hope you can take away more confidence and know that it is a decision and only you have the power to make that decision, to choose to live a confident life.
Thanks for sharing that. I know sometimes making a decision is actually a lot harder for Asian women because we've been taught to never make a decision for ourselves. But you're right, the minute we make that decision, and I know sometimes that's the hardest part, but once you kind of go over that and realize like you can make your own decisions, whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Like it will always lead you to that right path, right?
Your life truly changes the exact moment you make a new, aligned, and determined decision.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And share one boss up tip that you could give to the listeners right now.
I have so many tips, but I would say to wake up smiling because it's something I'm really intentionally practicing. And it's amazing because I really wish for you to do what energizes you for a living and to wake up each day with a smile because another chance of rebirth has been given to you. So I want you to feel alive because the world needs more alive people.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And I think that's needed more now than ever, especially with what's been going on in the world. And yeah, a smile can truly change your mood, right? Even when you're like really sad, even just making a goofy smile in front of the mirror can just make you laugh and realize like life isn't as bad as we think. So I really love that tip. And Lucy, can you share with where listeners can pre-order the Asian Women Who Boss Up book?
Absolutely. It is available on my website at lucyliucoaching.com/book. So, yes, grab your friends, grab lots of copies, and get your friends together to read, because reading is absolutely essential in my life. It's a non-negotiable. I love to read, and it helps so much because our brain needs that fuel.
Thanks for sharing that. And can you also share where else our listeners can connect with you?
Absolutely. Check out my podcast as well. It's across all platforms. The Lucy Liu Show. It's a fueling station, weekly fueling station for your mind, life, and business. And I'm very active on social everywhere, especially Instagram at MSLucyLiu. That's Miss Lucy Liu. So come say hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Lucy, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Lucy's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Lucy today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us. And I'm really excited for this book to come out. So thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you so much again for having me, Sheena. And to all the beautiful listeners tuning in, blessings are coming.
Awesome. It was great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing Asian woman who boss up author who's also going to share her tips and stories. So be on the lookout for the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. You can order your copy of Asian Women Who Boss Up book by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.